on to happier things, though. It's time to get on to the new album for this week, and that is going to be tying in with our theme of the month in solo or side project records. And there is no, or very few solo artists that can claim the notoriety, I guess, than that Ozzy Osbourne can command. So we're going to talk about Ordinary Man, the new one from this year. 11 tracks for 49 minutes, the 12th studio album from the iconic metal vocalist. Released February 2020 by Epic, produced by Andrew Watt and Lewis Bell. This is his first solo album in almost 10 years. There was a Black Sabbath album in there, and has quite the ensemble of musicians on this. I'm not going to bother rattling them off. There's heaps there. Dave, what did you think of it?
I love this album. I was a bit hesitant when I heard it because I knew it's not going to be what you expect because Zakk Wylde's on it. He's been such a staple for so long with Ozzy. They're like that. But this man's on there. Duff McKagan, which is always cool.
I knew you'd pick up on that.
Yeah. And one of the guys from the Chili Peppers, I think. I'm not really a Chili Peppers fan, but yeah, he's a damn fine guitar player.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, you don't really miss Zakk, which is kind of horrible to say. But it's a different type of album for Ozzy because it's kind of, it's pretty much a goodbye. It's probably going to be his last one, and it's very reflective in a lot of parts.
He's actually planning on doing another one this year, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, never say never with Ozzy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's only because we're in lockdown, he's got nothing else to do, and that was pretty much the reason. No, it was true. He came out and said if I was touring, it would be my last tour for sure, but because we don't know when we're going to do that, he goes, I might as well do another album now. So
yeah, makes sense. But lyrically, there's lots of themes where he's looking back over his life. I mean, there's a bit of reference to other songs throughout there. The video clip for Under the Graveyard, that is pretty fantastic.
I haven't checked it out yet. I've got to look at that.
Oh, man, you've got to check it out. It's got a young person playing Ozzy and a young Sharon. It's kind of like after he left Sabbath, he was in the hotel room just trying to slowly kill himself.
Yeah.
It kind of reflects that era.
Wow.
So, yeah, it keeps the song brilliantly. So, well worth checking out. It's really well recorded. There's great sounds throughout. Like I said, reflective. It's definitely his most personal album. There's a couple of little experiments, a couple of feels to some of the music that you wouldn't really expect from Ozzy, which I really like. Today is the End was one of those ones that I felt just pretty cool. Elton John appears on there, which I think is a fitting collaboration, actually. They work really well together. You get the whole Elton John vibe and you got the Ozzy vibe, and I thought that was really well done. Post Malone is on there, so the less we say about that wanker, the better. It definitely did not sit well with me. But apparently he's the reason this album kind of exists because he had Ozzy debut on one of his songs, so Ozzy was inspired to work with that producer. I believe that's how the story goes. So I don't want to credit him, but whatever. But, I give this 8 out of 10. I love this album. Under the Graveyard, Goodbye, Ordinary Man, Today's, and Scary Little Green Man. Not his best album, but definitely up there with some of his best.
Cool. All right, Mick, follow it up. Where'd you land on this album?
Yeah, for me, every artist has good and bad moments throughout their careers.
Yep.
And this one, for me, is a weaker album, a weaker effort. I wasn't fussed about Zakk being on the album. To be honest with you, I didn't want Zakk to be on the album because I think he needed fresh blood, guitar-wise. And I was hoping Gus G would be on it again.
That would have been awesome, actually.
I actually loved Scream, and I know a lot of people didn't like that album, but that was exactly what I wanted Ozzy to do again. The production was good. The thing that bugs me big time is the production of this album. I don't like it at all. And I really think it hurts the songs.
Okay.
Ozzy needs that pristine, sleek, big, in-your-face, for lack of a better term, for those, a Pantera-esque production where it just hits you balls at the wall.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. I don't like the way the drums were captured. Having said that, the playing is fantastic. Like some of the guitar solos is what saves the songs for me.
Wow.
But for me, it's the weakest effort he's done since Down to Earth.
Okay.
I thought that was another album that was sort of a run-of-the-mill album because Ozzy's solo stuff's so good that when it's off in a big way for me.
Okay.
So stuff after Down to Earth was quite good, and then this is another one where I go 10 years between albums, and this is what you could come up with. It sounds phoned in. I don't really find that everybody collectively was in there. It's almost like isolation happened before this, on this album, before actually isolation happened. It just doesn't feel like a band. I feel like Ozzy's really struggling vocally. There is some cool hooks on it, and you get that because he's got a melodic vocal. But I struggled I bought it straight away, and it was back in the CD case within 2 days. I got nothing out of it after about 3 listens.
That's a shame.
6.5 out of 10 for me. So it's one of those middle fucking things for me, thumb-wise. Under the Graveyard is a great song that Dave mentioned. I haven't seen the video, but I'll just go with Dave and say it's a good video. Scary Little Green Men, I like that song too. Yeah. And Eat Me was another one that I liked. But when I say I liked it, I like parts of it.
Yeah.
There's other parts within the song where it's just like, yeah, you could have done better than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Nikki, what did you think of it?
Me.
Okay.
I was disappointed with this. I listened to it with no prior knowledge. Yeah, it's interesting because my favourite songs were actually the Scary Little Green Man and Under the Grave, so they've already been mentioned. I was surprised by all the feature artists like Post Malone and Elton John. Ordinary Man was actually a great song, the title track.
Yep.
I don't know. This just didn't do it for me. It's not an album I'll revisit very often, and I'm a massive Ozzy fan. Like, I love the guy. It was a little bit same for me. I didn't feel there was a whole bunch of variety. There was a lot of ballads in there. Ballads are great. I love ballads, but I don't know.
Those ballads were being recycled. He's done those types of ballads on previous. Like it's set the same formula and the format was for me was like I've heard this before. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I was underwhelmed. There was nothing new that caught me. So, as I said, Scary Little Green Man, Goodbye was a good song. Under the Grave's a great song. Ordinary Man was okay. I don't know. For me, it was a bit of a meh. And I'm disappointed in that because I'm a massive Ozzy fan. I truly do respect the man. So I will give it a 6 out of 10. I really don't think I'll be going back there in a hurry at all.
Okay. All right, Tim, what did you think of this one?
This is depressing.
Okay.
Like
I know you had a lot to say about this one, so let's get into it.
Yeah, back up your comments, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's depressing to listen to this, knowing how sick this guy is.
Yeah.
And then sort of listening to his lyrics, like it's like he's writing his own obituary.
Yeah,
his own eulogy.
And it's very hard to listen to. At the same time, I'm sure it was very therapeutic for him, and I'm sure he needed to get it out. And I respect him for doing that because I wouldn't have had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard, man. Because I mean, I know he wants to do another album, but I mean, he's got Parkinson's. He may not be able to talk by the time this album comes out, for all we know.
Yeah.
Like,
I hadn't even thought of that, to be honest. Yeah.
Like that's the truth. The truth. That's the truth. He's not going to be singing for a long time, and he's got a lot of suffering to go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And knowing that, and then going through this album, it's impossible for me to listen to this album passively, and knowing just how fucked this dude is, and knowing that because he's not like a Keith Richards where he's going to do one tour and then fuck off to the French Riviera for 10 years. This guy works his ass off constantly, and he ain't going to be doing that for a long time.
No.
Do you think that maybe he already knew about all the stuff that we've only
he definitely
well before, and even in the process of writing this album?
He definitely knew, judging by the content of this album. And of course he would have. But
I agree with you, Tim. It's quite macabre and depressing.
It's hard to it's hard to listen to as a fan. Yeah.
Okay. So what?
Granted, there's a talent in doing that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Under the Graveyard and Ordinary Man. But yeah, Ordinary Man kind of just ruins my day.
See, I
give it out of 10.
One of my highlights. I like that song.
But in a way, it ruins my day. I think it's a great song, but
It's
listening
a
to
swan song, sort of song.
Yeah, it's kind of like shit, man.
The video really drives that nail into.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen any videos, I must admit.
Yeah, I know. You listen to that song,
Ordinary Man.
you listen to Ordinary Man, it's like, oh man, the day this guy finally cocks it's going to be a depressing fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all just got a little glimpse into
That song was beautiful, though, Tim. I thought it was a very well crafted song. Melodically, it is a beautiful song.
It's fantastic.
It's Candle in the Wind Part 2. That's what it is. So
yeah. But it's a glimpse into the day this guy finally cocks it, and it's going to be a shitty day.
It is.
Yeah.
What did you give out of 10, Tim? I didn't catch that.
I'll give it 8.5.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think it's. I think it's not.
Fuck, imagine if you liked it, you would have gave it 12.
It's not the quintessential Aussie album. There are far better Aussie albums than this.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think
100%.
But I think all things considered, where this guy is at this stage of his life, I think for him to put out this album and let himself be as vulnerable as he is to the entire world, I think is pretty deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yep.
See, for me, I went into this with pretty low expectations, honestly, because the last time I focused on Ozzy was when I went and saw them live. And the last memory I have of Ozzy Osbourne is him shuffling off the stage like The Walking Dead. And I just wish they'd have killed the lights in the moment because it, ruins the entire mystique of the man kind of thing. It just showed him really, really mortal. This is going back a long time ago now too. So for this album to come out, I went in with, I didn't really think I was going to get much out of it. So with a low bar, preconceived, I actually really enjoyed this record. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought this was a bit of a classic sort of Black Sabbath meets sort of the now. And I thought it was that swan song element is there because it does sort of encapsulate a lot of his overall career for mine. Tim, I need you to educate me on Post Malone. I know him mostly as a rapper, but between this and his Nirvana stuff, I'm curious as to this guy's background in music more than...
He's a metalhead.
He is he? Okay, yeah. I don't know.
The Post Malone track is actually one of my favourite tracks on the album, to be fair.
I fucking hate that song.
I like it.
He's a metalhead.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. I don't know anything about him.
He's a metalhead, but like, how many rappers and metalheads have crossed over between Cypress Hill and Public Enemy, and so. Yeah,
I just didn't expect it to work the way it did, and for me, it was a big surprise. Not a big fan of the last track on the album, the "Take What You Want." That's the more post one, but the one before that, the "It's a Raid," that's a really cool song, and I didn't realize how well I knew that one before going back to this record and this process. But anyway, this does have a very modern sound. It does go into the fuzz sort of stoner rock a bit, which will put some people off. It doesn't have the clinical production we're used to having from Ozzy Osbourne. And it clashes sort of head on with the old style Ozzy Osbourne, and then his energy on this too. It's a really, but I thought that juxtaposition was really cool. I liked it was the modern stoner rock sound with the sort of classic sort of Sabbathy kind of riffs. I thought that worked really well. I like the lyrics. I know that it's a bit depressing in parts, but I thought it was very, very cool. And how you get the mortality of Ozzy, but you also there's still that cheeky side in there too. I thought that was very well done. There is some cheese in this, but there always is. But I thought it worked really well and the context was there. It all fit. I thought the mix of the heavy and the soft and the guest moments worked really well. Like Elton John in particular was a standout element on that for me. I think the track order kept me engaged. I thought it was a well-done album that stood up on repeat. Some very cool groove and swing. Ozzy still sounded pretty good. I mean, I know that he doesn't sound as good as he used to, but for a man in his 70s with everything that's going on, I thought he did a pretty good vocal performance, actually. Solid writing. You got the mix of the heartfelt and the fun on this one too. But I think this is, like I said at the start, going back to just a mix of everything Ozzy has done. If you're going to do a swan song kind of an album, this is probably the one to do it with. Not what I expected, but I thought it was really well done. Some cool riffs, some cool hooks too. And you get some little bits of blues, like there's harmonica touches and stuff in there that give you like a blues base on this, which I thought was a really nice little nod to things. I went into this, like I said, with tempered expectations. I didn't have a high bar for this, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. And the fact that there's another one not too far away, assuming everything goes to plan, I'm kind of keen to check out the next one on the back of this. I thought the guest stuff in particular went really well, especially Post Malone. I really didn't expect that to click the way it did, but it worked. I don't normally go for those things, and I know that some like Dave really hated, but I took it on its merits, and I thought it worked really well. I really enjoyed this one. I think that the Prince of Darkness isn't done yet. I know that might sound funny in the context of the whole review, but I think he's got more to go. I think 9 out of 10 from me. Scary Little Green Man. It's cool. That's pretty much a staple standout for us. I really enjoy that one. Ordinary Man, just because of the heartfelt stuff. Under the Graveyard, and also Holy for Tonight, all my standouts on this one as well. So with all these reviews, make sure whatever you can check out, especially the Ozzy Osbourne album, then make sure you get in the comments and let us know what you think of these ones as well.